Good evening, San Diego. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis, and thank you for tuning in for your CBS 8 Plus weather update. Today was beautiful out there. Now, we did start off with some fog in some spots. We'll get to those details coming up because you're already starting to see it out there now. But we are going to be looking at that yet again in the forecast. But because we had that cooler air and that marine influence, that's where we had the cooler temperatures right there along our coastline. So we had that at 69 degrees today. That was for Carlsbad, and also talking about 67 degrees for Encinitas. It was a little bit warmer for downtown at 72 degrees. You also had 77 degrees for La Mesa as well as for Miramar. And we still had some 80s across inland regions. So we're still talking about the inland valleys, spots like Ramona, Escondido, Valley Center, still locked into the 80s by tomorrow as well, as high pressure is going to be our main weather maker. As mentioned, you already started to see it if you were right there along the coast. And well, that's because we are looking at that marine layer returning. So it's rather shallow because of that area of high pressure is bringing the heat, and it's keeping the cloud cover for the coast as well as for metro cities, and that's where it mainly looks to be locked in. So low clouds as well as some fog. Now, reduced visibility down to about a quarter of a mile at times. We saw that this morning. We had it last night, and so we're still looking at a very similar pattern in the forecast, at least to start off the day for Wednesday, and then we get right back to that widespread sunshine, and that's because high pressure will still be overhead. So this ridge will continue to go strong all the way through Thursday, and then things change up a little bit more as we kick off the weekend. So the jump starts to the weekend being on Friday, and that's when temperatures are going to drop as we have a series of low pressure systems that take us all the way into the start of next week. So this area of high pressure has been our fair weather friend. So the weather maker is bringing all that warmth out there that we've had for our daytime highs. And then on top of that, we also have Santa Ana winds back in the forecast that will make those temperatures even warmer by Thursday. When we look at your overnight lows, first thing tomorrow morning with that haziness, especially for the coast, you're looking at 50 degrees for Carlsbad. The same for Del Mar. You also have 46 degrees expected for Oceanside. Downtown at 50 degrees. And then you're looking at widespread 50s just basically across the county. 53 degrees for Poway, 50 degrees for El Cajon. You also have the 50s and 40s across the mountains, but 60 degrees for Borrego Springs. For your daytime highs tomorrow, you're still locked into the cooler temperatures right there along the coast. Widespread 60s and also impacting for downtown at 69. But you have those 80s across the inland valleys yet again east of the 15, all because of that ridge of high pressure that's going to be over us. Also 80 degrees for Julian, 91 degrees expected for Borrego Springs. Your surf forecast, about 4 to 7 feet and a high risk of rip currents at our local beaches. That's with a northwest groundswell. That's building all the way into the middle of the week. Be mindful, if you're not a skilled swimmer, you are advised to not be in the water because we're talking about that high risk of rip currents and the elevated surf. So please use caution, and it's always best to swim near lifeguards if you are going to be out there. You have this area of high pressure that's going to be right over the Great Basin. When we talk about those two things, we always talk about the Santa Ana winds. They look to be back in the forecast, but this does not look to be a strong wind event, but it is going to boost our temperatures just a little bit more. So it looks to pick up late on Wednesday night, lasting all the way through Thursday, with that peak in the morning hours on Thursday and early afternoon. These gusts are upwards of about 35, 45 miles per hour. Not strong enough for a wind alert, so no wind advisory anticipated, or even fire weather warnings or a red flag warning, nothing like that. It's just basically telling you it's going to be dry, and we also will have elevated fire weather concerns, but just not high enough for the alert. So it doesn't look to be a severe case, but we will have dry conditions across inland regions, bringing those humidity values down to about 12 to 15% as a result of the gusty winds picking up mainly across the mountains and then impacting right there all the way towards the coast, where temperatures are going to respond by warming right back up into those mid 70s. So that will be short-lived with a round of Santa Ana winds, because then we got to talk about low pressure systems. So high pressure does exit out, and then we have a low pressure system that starts to move closer towards us by Friday. We'll see an increase in cloud cover, feel the cooler temperatures. Wait till you see your extended forecast, because temperatures are dropping anywhere between about 10 to 15 degrees as we transition from Thursday all the way into Friday because of this low pressure system. So it's going to be the first one that moves in. It's only a slight chance that we could see any rain with it, mainly just maybe slight chance for showers. It's not going to be a big rainmaker for us, and you can see that right there. Not a lot of moisture associated with it, but the one right behind it, that's a different story. So that one looks to get closer towards us, and as it does, you're looking at a more robust system. You are looking at more moisture associated with it. You're even seeing some snow across the Sierra and then trickling in towards Southern California. Now, as of tonight, all we really know is our chances go up as a result of these passing low pressure systems. We don't have a pinpoint on exactly how much we're anticipating when it does come to these systems. Of course, models come into better agreement when you're closer towards the event, so we'll have a better idea by roughly about Friday. So we're looking at this really picking up in the forecast, and that's Sunday all the way through Monday. So that's when we're looking at the more favorable conditions to see some wet weather in our forecast. Gusty winds also picking up, especially for the mountains and the desert with that westerly flow, and then the cooler temperatures that will be around. So we'll keep you posted just on how much we're anticipating when it does come to the next round of chances. So we have another one, but you're not going to see this reflected on the next graphic, and that's because this one goes a little bit more out. So there's still plenty of time to see if this does change up in our forecast, but this one, especially tracking a little bit closer towards us, this could be more of an impact for us. I can also tell you, because right there, that trail, that's an atmospheric river. So we'll monitor that one as well, but we're just going to focus on the weekend all the way into the start of next week. But I can show you this, because that one I just showed you, you notice how it starts to go up again once we get past Tuesday. So that's another one we'll be watching by next week. But we're keeping the dry conditions in the forecast, especially on Thursday, as we have those Santa Ana winds back. And there's your slight chance, and that's on Thursday and Friday, or excuse me, on Friday and Saturday when it comes to wet weather for San Diego. Here's why. You have the dry air that's going to be impacting us because of the Santa Ana winds. So we're still going to be dealing with some dry air closer towards the surface. So it's only a slight chance that we could see any type of precipitation falling down. And then you get to Sunday where it's already saturated because of that passing low pressure system. And so it's just going to add to it. So that's why we have a better chance on Sunday before that comes down by Monday. And then there's a slight chance on Tuesday. We could see better chances by next week. When we look at next 7 days for the coast, you have those 70s in the forecast, high clouds on Thursday, Santa Ana winds making an impact and drying us out. Then you have the moisture that starts to arrive. So drop in temperatures a little bit more on the subtle side, and that will be for the coast. You have the 70s going right back into those 60s, but still making quite a difference. And then you have those low 60s that take you into the start of next week. For the inland valleys, you go from the 80s on Thursday, the peak of the heat, back into the 60s by Friday, and you stay in those 60s all the way into next week. So a slight chance for showers on Saturday, better chance for rain in the forecast. That will be on Sunday and lasting through Monday morning. For the mountains, you have the 70s tomorrow. You're back into the 60s on Thursday. By Friday, you're back into the 50s, even down to the 40s by Monday. And there is a chance we could see some snow in our local mountains as well. We'll keep you posted the days ahead on that. And for the desert, you have the 90s tomorrow. Then you notice temperatures dropping down. 81 degrees by Thursday, talking about the 70s returning by Friday, even looking at 60s by Monday of next week. Not anticipating any rain with a series of low pressure systems moving through, and that will be for the desert. It's mainly going to be the cooler temperatures, passing clouds, and those gusty winds. And of course, we will continue to keep you posted on any more details when it does come to the change up in our forecast over the weekend into the first half of next week. I hope you're having a great night, and thanks for tuning in.